excited to have Susan Sharkey back with us. Susan is with the National Endowment for Financial Education, pronounced NEFE.
Okay, well, first before we begin, I'd like to do a poll. Hit the raise your hand button on in the GoToMeeting. How many of you are familiar with or have used the high school financial planning program? And I'll ask Hillary to report out.
All right, I'm kind of surprised. There's only about 5, so you've got a lot of folks who have not used it before. This is a good group for you then.
Okay, good. Then I just want to start off. The National Endowment for Financial Education has provided this curriculum since 1984. Not the exact. We have updated everybody. I don't want to give the wrong impression that it's been the same since '84. But we provide a curriculum that is geared towards teens in grades 8 to 12. If you are a 6th or 7th grade teacher, use your judgment, because the procedures are basically the same, but you might want to change up the activities. But we're gearing this towards teens who are either just entering the workforce, also especially thinking about that transition as they're young adults. We call this a comprehensive curriculum because for you, the instructor, we provide a lesson plan and the resources you need to spend just a little time in preparation. You should have everything you need. And I'll show you some of those components in a minute, in a little bit. This is considered instructor-led. It is not an online, self-paced instruction. I think you heard this during the credit union presentation. Students learn by doing, and some of this doing also involves having a mentor or someone there to answer their questions. Even if you don't have the answers to the questions, you are the person to guide them to where they should go to seek out their questions or investigate further. And we find that this is one of the qualities that the students like, is having someone right there to respond to them when they have the question. Our resources are set up to work well in the classroom, but also on those occasional workshops. I know some of you might do work in your community with Scouts or 4-H. These are resources that can very easily be adapted to those types of settings. Or some of you might be working with your youth organizations as well. You might want to use some of our resources. I just want to point out that the National Endowment for Financial Education, affectionately known as NEFE, provides all of our resources at absolutely no cost to anyone. We do this through a very well-managed endowment. We make this available, and we've been doing this for 34 years. We also provide it in a non-commercial manner, so you will have no ads. We do not sell your information to anyone. We truly do this as a public service to help you have quality resources to lift up your young people with their financial literacy. So let's move on to the next slide. Within our program, we have the materials divided up into 6 modules, and in a little bit I'll reveal those modules. As I mentioned earlier, you can teach all of this, or you could pick and choose what you want to use. Right now we have 27 standalone lessons. We do offer a suggested sequence if you're going to teach them, whether it's a 5-day unit, a 10-day unit, or all the lessons at one time. But here again, each lesson is wrapped around its own competency, and we leave that up to you as the expert in the classroom to decide which lessons to teach and what order, and that would be based on what your students already know, where they are at in their lives, and what you expect that they'll need to know down the road. With each module, we have individual student guides, which I'll show those to you in a second here. Those are available for you to order as print copies. You can order as many as you need. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. We ship those to you also at no cost. They are also available online. As a former business teacher, I am very aware of the students who forgot their materials, can't find them. So with that in mind, we have made it convenient for you to say, not a problem, let's go over to the computer or tablet. Here is the online PDF version. I know some of you also probably are completely paperless, so that is why we've made the student resources available online. We also have a take-home or a letter to send home. Before you start each module, we recommend that you take a look at that letter. It is a Word template, so you can very easily add your own preamble or information about your class. What we have populated in that template is information about the topic that will be taught. We offer up suggestions for reinforcing learning at home. And then we have discovered that our families often have extra questions or they feel uncomfortable talking about a topic because they're not familiar. So we also offer up several easy to access free resources that the parents and guardians or older siblings might want to explore on their own. So those are available for you. The lesson resources include a lesson plan for each lesson and a PowerPoint slide deck. We have a student learning plan, the handouts, activities, but because each lesson is wrapped around a specific target outcome, we also have suggested performance assessments with scoring rubrics. We design those as a sample. If you don't have time to put one together, feel free to use that. But again, you might decide that you want to create your own because you also added other resources to the lesson. Again, all of these resources are available to you at no cost. We just ask that you do not charge a fee when you're using them if you were doing something out in the community for a workshop. All of the teacher resources are accessible to you online immediately after registering for an account. And as we close here, I'll show you how to do that. So let's move on to a tour. If I'm going to walk you through this, or actually I'm going to guide Hillary to walk you through this, but if you go to our website and look at, could you just flip that slide back up, please, Hillary? If they want to jot down, they can take this tour on their own, or they can maybe look up in the at the URL.
Yep, we actually have the URL in the note taker, so it is there.
Okay, in the note taker. So if you get a chance, what we have is a live, what we call our digital showcase, where you can touch and feel samples of our documents. But I'm going to ask Hillary now to just expand this, the booklet here. It gives a feel of our book, and we'll go to page 3, Hillary. So let's flip through. This is our flip book. Again, please feel free to share this with someone, but on this page here, we have example, or it shows you what each module encompasses. So module 1 has to do with money management, and then we move into borrowing. We have a complete unit on earning power. This goes well beyond career research. We spend time talking about the considerations beyond salary, having students compare benefits and paid and non-paid benefits of a job, having them think about cost of living if they were to be comparing jobs within 2 different communities. We also want them to see the value of purposefully and intentionally planning out their training and their education so they're on track to build their income, potential, and capability. So that's a very important unit, and you might want to use that along with any career units that you teach as well. In our 4th module, we spend quite a bit of time talking about investing. You heard that from the credit union folks, that students need to understand compound interest, dollar cost averaging, but the main takeaway is if they need to consider investing as part of their financial plan because they want to be keeping up with inflation rates, which is included in our lesson. Module 5, we talk about financial services as well as being careful to protect their financial and their personal data. And then the insurance and risk management module wraps up the series. Again, you could teach these in whichever order seems to work best for you. And even within the modules, you might not teach every single lesson. There are 4 to 5 lessons within each module. So let's take a look at some of the pieces. As you flip through the book, you'll see here on the next page a sample of the lesson plan. Again, having taught in the classroom, the first is the student guide. So each of these guides include some of the activities within the guide. You can see that in the bottom right there. We also have a storyline of a junior or senior student who's going through different life decisions compared to a younger student in grades 8, 9, or 10. We want the students to see that regardless of their actual life circumstances, they will still handle the decision-making process in a similar manner. We feel it's important to start early to show them how this is the same or similar process, so it's something they can replicate when they become adults. Again, these books are 8.5 by 5.5, so they're a little smaller. We're hoping they can tuck them in their book. They're 40 pages long, and when we do survey and follow up, we find that this is a piece that our students often share with someone at home, and that's what we want them to do. So feel free to order what you need for your students. And don't worry about not having enough. We'll just order more. On these pages, if you want to see the specific examples, you can just click. We won't do it here because I know we'll bog down the presentation, but click that orange tab to download and you can instantly see the actual copy. So the next page is the lesson plan. In the lesson plan, there are 5 or 6 pages. We tried to provide enough detail that someone who has very little personal finance background will still feel confident and comfortable leading the discussion. We've also included notes on how to handle some of the activities and where we felt it was helpful. We also included places where you can yourself get more information. And I know in the insurance unit, we also even have notes where this might be a good lesson to invite a guest speaker and give them the lesson plan so they can guide your students through activities. All the lessons are designed in a 4-phase learning fashion, meaning we start first with some kind of an introduction, attention getter activity to get them focused. And then we rotate into the step 2 of sharing some new information, immediately followed by practice and process. And we do that at least 2 or 3 times. So new information, some process activity, and then each lesson ends with an application activity, which you might use as a means for them to build a portfolio. Some of the activities are group, some are individual. And you will also find with each lesson, we suggest ways to reinforce learning at home or through a club activity, or sometimes you will have the student who just wants to learn on their own so they can use that activity. Again, you can download all of the lesson plans right from the website. So on the next page, we have a sample. Go ahead, Hillary. Of a student learning plan. Each of our lessons has a 1-page student learning plan, which you could either hand to the students so they know what they're learning. At the very top, you'll see listed the target outcomes and the learning objectives. The idea here is to help the student take responsibility for learning. We also, in the center there, you see a chart. It just lists the activities that you will accomplish. This works really well for that student who might be absent. You can give this. You don't have to write up their makeup work. This is it. And if it's something that might need to be altered, you both have something to work with. On the bottom of that page is where we have those extra activities to take it home or to learn more on your own. 2 other ways that this works really well is to use this with when you're co-teaching with a special ed teacher. Share this ahead of time so you can have the conversation about how you might need to adapt activities to accommodate IEPs. We have also had teachers use this with their guest speakers. They might share the previous lessons with the guest speaker so that speaker knows what has already been discussed. And it's also a way to guide the conversation. On the next page, you can download a sample of the PowerPoint slide deck. Go ahead, Hillary. And our slide deck is set up so there's a presentation, but we also give you the opportunity to print out all the slides with the notes. So they're the exact same teacher notes as the lesson plan, but many teachers said this is their preferred method. They have it right with the slides. We put together a slideshow just to help guide the discussion. And sometimes this is our way of also showing the mini case scenarios or the check-in and reflection questions. Again, suggested to go along with the lesson. All of our lessons go well beyond what is in that student guide, so I suggest that you look at the whole lesson. On the next page, we have an example of some of the student activities. You can download one of our activities from our, this is our budget module, and these activities are available in the workbooks where students can write answers. If you think they need more room, you're welcome to print out these handouts, or they're also available as forms to download as PDFs so students can enter their responses, save them, and send them to you electronically. And then the last piece we'd like to show you here is a sample performance assessment. You can see on this is preparing a budget, so we have the actual activity, but the page to the left is a scoring rubric that we have put together not only to check off for knowledge, but also to show that they've completed something appropriately. When I've used this in the classroom, I actually give my students the checklist and told them to self-check their work before submitting it. That really saved me a lot of time correcting papers. But you could also use it for peer edits as well, because you and I know when they critique each other, often they learn. I caution you, though, if you're asking for very personal information, that would not be an appropriate time to do a peer edit, so you can protect person's information and also prevent any embarrassment of students comparing each other's situations. So on the last page, this is just where we would show you how to get into our program. If you just go to HSFPP, that stands for High School Financial Planning Program.org, and you can go right to the website. Hillary, do you have the website pulled up or not? On the website, you have a place to register. And once you are registered, we do vet. You can, right there, thank you. You can create an account. And then once you're registered, you can place an order for materials. I would order your student guides. You can order an instructor pack, which it's the starter kit with some lesson plans for you to build your own manual. Or again, if you download the teacher materials from the website, they're all packaged in module files so you can easily organize them on your computer. And just to close here, a couple other features I'd like to show on the website. On the bottom in the footer, you can connect to our Facebook page. Kimberly Roy manages our Facebook page, and we offer up activity tips, links to other interesting materials or activities such as the Jumpstart Teacher Training. We also will share other interesting information and sometimes just fun tidbits as well. So I encourage you to sign up for our Facebook page. There you go. Thank you. And then we also have, and Kim also puts stories up too from some of our teachers. You're also invited to sign up for our newsletter, and I'm not seeing that. Maybe if you click the high school financial planning icon, please, up at the top, just the logo. There we go. That'll take us to the home page. You can sign up for our newsletter. Near the bottom of the page, we publish a monthly newsletter the second Thursday of every month, and in that newsletter, we provide sometimes tips. We link to blog stories. Our last blog story was about how to decide what to teach and walk you through that process. We will often let you know if we're having a contest or survey. We've last year offered 10 scholarships for teachers to go to the Jumpstart National Educator Conference. So sign up for that. Again, we do not share your name or that list with anyone else, and we only send that out once a month, the second Thursday of every month. You'll see there on this screen too, we also have links to some of our other program social media are on your own website and our other Facebook feeds. And the last piece is if you are stuck, in the very bottom right on all of our pages, we have a help button or you hit contact us. We have a live person in the help screen. You can sometimes just get a quick answer on your own, but if you contact us, we do have someone who will respond to your message during business hours. I'm going to pause here. That's the wrap of my presentation, but Hillary, did you see any questions for me?
I haven't seen any questions come in, but if anybody has any and wants to pose them quickly there in the questions area, we can pose those to Susan while we still have her. Thank you so much. I love this new overview that you guys have online, and as I mentioned earlier, that is the link for that is in the agenda and bios, so folks can access that and review that. Here's the link again as well for everyone. So, I don't know about those on the line, but I think that would be a fantastic link to share with others, maybe within your department or within, your network of other teachers that that might, benefit from finding out about the high school financial planning program. So thank you again, Susan. I appreciate your participation with us today and look forward to hopefully having you on again sometime in the future as well.
Okay, thank you. Good luck, everyone. Thank you for the work you do.